Frank, I know that you have to be focused mostly on the court, but just with Kuzma getting the extension done now, LeBron and AD getting that done, does that add something to you, just in the overall makeup of the locker room? Is that something that you think about?
Well, I personally couldn't be more excited that we got Kuz into a contract extension. He'll be with us for years to come, and I just love what the young man represents. He's one of our hardest workers. He's a team-first guy. He's sacrificed, in many ways to help us win a championship. He's willing to do the same again, and he's the kind of player that we want here with the LA Lakers. On the floor. Someone that's versatile offensively, is a two-way player that impacts the game on both ends, and has that desire to win at a high level. So he's a big part of last year's championship, and he's a huge part of what we hope to do this year as well.
And then just on the basketball court with him, Coach, how do you see it evolving with the roster? Danny Green out, does that potentially open up some more minutes for guarding bigger players? And what kind of a rhythm do you think he's in the preseason? All of that. What's your basketball take on what you think Cruz can bring this year?
Yeah, he's going to have a big role in our team. There's no question about it. We do have one of the deeper teams in recent memory, really. Not just a deeper team, the deepest team in the NBA this year, but I believe this is one of the deeper teams that the NBA has seen in recent memory. And we're going to try to use the early part of our season to get a lot of guys acclimated and comfortable with each other. But we got a lot of guys that are going to impact the game and going to impact winning, and Kuz is definitely one of them.
Dave?
Frank, Kyle told us the other day that he doesn't know what his role is on this team. I'm curious if that falls on you and your coaching staff to inform him on that, or does that mean that it's a kind of a fluid situation based on how the year goes? I wondered if you could.
Yeah, I spoke to him about that, and he was just referring to that he's not sure if he's starting yet or coming off the bench. And, we'll see that play out tomorrow night. I hadn't told our team what we're planning to do with our rotation yet. And we will probably have some fluidity with how we use the many weapons at our arsenal this year. So, the number one thing with Kuz in terms of this team is to bring energy on both ends of the floor. He knows what we're asking him to do with regard to offensively, being more aggressive in catch and shoot situations, playing through him some, but also complementing Bron and AD, and continuing to grow on the defensive end. That much is clear to him. Where he's going to fall in terms of a starting role coming off the bench is still to be determined, and will likely be fluid throughout the year.
For basically the whole time he's been with the Lakers, Kuz has kind of been in the shadow of, is this guy a trade possibility? Could he do some X, Y, Z trades? As you mentioned, the extension kind of sets him up with the Lakers for several years. Are you hopeful that that sense of security maybe creates an environment where Kuz can thrive even more on the court?
Yeah, I think you can deduct that, but I've never felt like his contract situation or where he was at, in terms of being up for an extension or last year of his deal or anything like that. Like that has never driven Kuz. Like Kuz comes to work every day, looking to play the game of basketball at a high level, and the fact that he's signed a contract, I really don't think that's going to change his approach and change anything about him. He's going to come in and do whatever's asked of him to do to help the Lakers win basketball games. So, I don't think that's going to be different now.
Brad?
Hello, Frank. How are you today?
Good, Brad. How you doing?
Doing great, man. We keep talking about the last time you guys played a regular season game was in 71 days when you guys start tomorrow. How ready are you guys to start playing the game? Is this more physical, mental, or is it both? You guys go forward.
Yeah, I don't think we're as ready as we would like to be. I think like I said, like we've been saying all along, we're not feeling sorry for ourselves in any way, but, the short off season and a condensed preseason, has us in a place where, we're probably going to be still figuring things out, the first month or so of the season. And we'll probably have some ugly nights along the way, some ugly moments, and that's to be expected, and that's okay, because we got a good team. We have a good group of guys that are willing to come in and sacrifice to win a championship. And I'm not really worried about that big picture, but we're definitely not as ready as we normally would be to start a season, but that's okay.
Alan Sliwa.
Hey, Coach, the conversation's been about the depth and having so many guys that, obviously you can go to. Can you talk about what you think that's gonna be just during practices, during the regular season? Is it good to have that type of competition, guys all, obviously, I don't wanna say fighting for minutes against each other, of course, everyone's pulling the rope in the same direction, but how can that be advantageous to the team and that competition internally?
Yeah, well, anytime the guy next to you plays out of his mind, it makes you want to play at a higher level too. So the more guys are playing, we saw this in practice yesterday. We had several guys, I won't mention names, that got really hot or had some incredible defensive spurts. And it was almost like literally in front of our eyes, guys were pushing each other by elevating the level of their own play. And, hopefully that carries out throughout the year for us. Each guy, just continuing to raise his level and putting more onus on the next guy to do the same.
We'll take a few more here. Let's go, Joe Martin.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
Hey, okay, so last weekend, TMZ released this call with Jerry West, and he said something untoward about the Lakers, called you guys a shit show, and obviously it's a long time ago. But what my actual question is, running a locker room of grown adults, do you ever come into a situation where you have bulletin board material that you actually use? And if you do, when and what was the last thing you used?
I have used bulletin board material from time to time. Typically I like to keep that stuff in-house. There was a few moments in the playoffs last year where we used some things that I honestly I'd rather just keep it in-house. But this thing with Jerry West is not one of them. Short answer to that.
Molly Knight.
Hi there, Coach. Obviously, this was the shortest off-season, an unprecedented situation. I'm just wondering, from a coaching standpoint, how do you prepare these guys? Because the talent is there, but how do you prepare them so that physically they'll be playing at their best by the time the playoffs roll around?
Yeah, focus on execution and the cardiovascular work that we do on a day-to-day basis to try to build that up at the right pace without overdoing it. And that's been a fine line to walk, but one that I think we've done pretty well up to this point. And that's going to continue in really the first half of this season, first month, first 2 months, however you want to look at it. We're just going to have to be intelligent with ramping these guys up and doing enough work that our execution is at the level it needs to be, and we're continuing to get our legs under us. But like I said, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be some ugly moments along the way, and that's just the nature of this quick turnaround. But at the end of the day, we're going to stay together. We're going to keep grinding, and I like what we're going to be able to do. I feel good about what we're going to be able to do on the court.
Thanks. We have time for two more. Let's go, Jovan.
Hey Frank, first I wanted to introduce myself. It's my first day on the beat, so
Welcome.
via Zoom. Second, I'm curious, where do you feel like you guys are defensively right now, particularly with implementing Mark and Trez and what they bring defensively?
We'll see. I'm not exactly sure. I've definitely seen some moments or stretches of our preseason games where I was very impressed with our connectivity. I'm hopeful that carries out, onto the work of these first few games. But you never really know early in the season until you start playing the games that matter where you're at. So I think these first 5 games or so will be a good barometer for us.
Last question, Harrison.
Hey Frank, we obviously saw a lot, during the preseason of what Taylor could do with the ball in his hands, but we didn't see him alongside LeBron a lot. I was just wondering, if he's going to get minutes this year, have you guys been working with him or emphasizing with him kind of more complementary skills that he can do when he's on the court with some of those higher usage guys like LeBron and Dennis?
Yeah, we're a ball movement team, so whether he's out there with Bron or AD, he still gets the ball on second side action and has shown to be very effective with that. And obviously what he was able to do in the preseason games with those guys out has been very impressive. So we like what he brings to the table. If we're asked to lean on him as a primary scorer or playmaker, like we did in